It's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me directly through Benji at alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is an internationally syndicated show solely due to the love and support that you all continue to show. We're available across all major podcast distributors. And like I mentioned, people, if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in because we are delighted to showcase this next guest on our network. And on the line with us today, we have the impressive Dr. Gerry Haller. And people, we're going to be discussing her incredible book, Will's Adventure to the Candy Mountain, okay? You're going to want to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. Ingram Spark. I'm telling you, man, listen, type it into a search bar and you're going to be greeted with all of them. But the most important spot is drgerryhaller.com. There, you're going to gather more information on her, more information on her amazing book. Also, check back in frequently because she has another book still in creation that you're going to want to get your hands on as well. I'm telling you, man, it's a one-stop shop for it all. Again, that's drgerryhaller.com. And before we go any further, I want to point out the fact that she was brought to us by book collaborators. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process and now you need some assistance moving that masterpiece you developed, head on over to bookcollaborators.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. People, it is an absolute pleasure to have Dr. Haller here on the line, man. Listen, pack your sweet tooth and hold on tight because tonight, young Will is ditching bedtime for a one-way ticket to Candy Mountain. You see, because thanks to his grandmother's wild tales, he's dreamed of this sugary paradise forever. But when a midnight train shows up, things get real. And every turn is a delicious dilemma. Sit back, strap in, grab a snack, because trust me, you'll crave one, and join us for this delightful adventure. Man, this is going to be something special. It's something that my parents out there are going to gravitate towards, and your children are going to love it. So let's get it started, okay? Dr. Haller, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, and thank you so much for inviting me to be your guest.
Well, listen, Dr. Haller, this is a true pleasure, all right? I really do mean it. It was a no-brainer when the opportunity presented itself. We jumped at it, okay? Wanting to seize it because you are a remarkable individual. In your book, Will's Adventure to the Candy Mountain, man, it's something impressive. It is a lot of fun and, just between you and I, although I know it isn't just between you and I, of course, I'm sure you've gotten this remark before. One of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite holiday movies, and one of my favorite books growing up was The Polar Express. And the connection, the similarities between your book and The Polar Express, man, it is uncanny. So this is something we're thoroughly looking forward to, man. There's a nostalgic feel to it, but it is also refreshingly original. So we're looking forward to this discussion. Thank you for writing the book. And again, thank you for being here with us to discuss it all.
The funny thing about it is that the book had nothing to do with the Polar Express because the way it got started is that there were train tracks down at the end of the block where my grandchildren lived. And there was never any train on it. They said to me, Grandma, I've never seen a train on the track. I wonder what that's all about. And I said to them, well, the reason you never see a train on the tracks is because this is the train that goes to the Candy Mountain. They're like, whoa. I said, but you have to be very, very good. Not just anybody can go. And that's how it became a story about a train.
Love that. Well, listen, I wasn't planning on going to inspiration first, but since we've already started to go in that direction, how can I go anywhere else, Dr. Haller? Let's go further in that. I love that origin story, but talk to us because, listen, this could have been a book that you privately wrote for your grandchildren, as you just said, right? Something that was just verbally told between you all amongst yourselves, but you took it a step further, right? You published the book for the masses, which of course is greatly, we greatly appreciate, of course, but talk to us about what inspired you to do that.
Well, once I made this story up about the train tracks down the block from them, Will was so excited about it. He would want me to, every night I was there, I'd have to crawl in bed with him and hold him in my arms and tell him the story about it. And one day he said to me, Grandma, you have to write that story. I said, oh, I'm not an author. And he said, I don't care. You have to write the story. He says, every child in the world needs to hear this story. And he bugged me until one day I sat down and I wrote it and found out that I really could write it. So my Will is the one. He loved the story so much, and he felt everybody who would hear it would love the story. Mm-hmm. So that's how it all got going, through him.
Well, listen, without further ado, let's learn a little bit more about this book, Will's Adventure to the Candy Mountain. Tell us more about this fantastic book.
Well, when I was writing the book, of course, after being a teacher of little children and everything, I wanted to put in there a lot of things that would help children. Being pleasant, being kind. It's very important to be kind and to have friends and be dedicated to them. And, so a lot of that is in the book, the kindness and the staying friends and wanting to be friends. And the people who write that story, but the people who write the comments about the book always seem to like that about the book, that that it is being helpful and honest and making children aware of being good people.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, that is a message that I know I can get behind. I know my listening audience can get behind as well. And my transition now, my follow-up question that I would like to go into here, Dr. Haller, what would you say throughout this journey and this writing process, what was the most challenging part of writing this book?
It wasn't so much, in the writing of the book. The challenging part was to get it published by the proper people. That was the biggest challenge I had. Because I had told the story to my grandchildren many, many nights, when he told me to write it and I thought I couldn't, I found that the book just flowed. And I had, a friend whose teenage children came to visit, and they were helping me with some things in the book too that they thought should be in there, as far as if I was writing properly, that type of a thing. Mm-hmm. They were twins, so I got a kick out of their help in it.
Well, listen, we talked about the most challenging part, so let's look at the opposite side of that coin. What would you say was probably, I guess, the highlight or the most fun part of this writing or the storyline itself? What was the most enjoyable part for you?
The favorite part of the story? Well, no, I think it was, just working with Will and how much he loved the book, and wanted me to do it. And as I wrote it and how excited he became about it and everything, I kept saying, everyone in the world needs to hear this, Grandma. You've got to do it. So I really enjoyed his interest in getting it off the ground for me. Otherwise, I'm not too sure I would have written the book or even thought of being an author. Will is my hero. He was probably 4 years old, and he is now 18, and he's 6'7".
Whoa.
I've talked about my story in libraries, and people have said to me, why don't you bring Will with so we could get to see Will? And I'm like, you'd be in shock to see Will because he's not that little boy anymore.
No, no, he is definitely not a little boy anymore. 6'7", my goodness, he's a little giant, Dr. Haller. That is incredible. Whoa. Okay. Well, listen, something that you touched up on a second ago, I wanna touch up on quickly, because I thought it was great. It was a great piece of advice, right? You mentioned in terms of inspiration. Behind even becoming a writer, even pushing forward, pursuing this aspiration of being an author. And I think that there's a lot of wisdom there to be gained. And people, trust me when I tell you, there's a whole lot of wisdom in this book, all right, for your children and for a lot of other people who pick it up, man. And that's why you got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Make sure to check out the personal site, drgerryhaller.com. You're going to want to head on over, purchase your copies, get lost in this amazing book. Check out her Facebook page as well by searching her name, Dr. Gerry Haller. Stay up to date with everything that she has going on and everything that she will have in the future. So much information there to be found. Also, check out her other book, remember, still in creation, so you can't pick it up just yet. And that one is called What You Do When You Love Your Brother. I'm telling you, there is so much there to be gained. You know where to go. Pick up your copies today. Dr. Haller, continuing along the lines of giving advice, listen, like I mentioned before, talking about you pursuing this and having your grandson Will really push you along in that direction. I think, like I said, there's wisdom there to be gained. Well, for others out there listening in right now that have similar aspirations to become authors, they have stories in their minds, they want to get it out on the page, but for one reason or another, they're not really sure how to go about it or, how to conquer the fear of taking that leap of faith. Well, I want to ask, since you are someone that has been through the process and you have wisdom to share, what would you say to those people listening in right now? What are some words of wisdom that you can offer them to help push them along on this journey?
Believe in yourself. If you write a book and you think it's good or you want to do it, believe in yourself. Just do it. I mean, it's not that hard to sit down, write the book, and get to a good publisher. So that your book gets in the right hands. There's a lot of that goes on out there that is not helping authors. It's trying to get money from and everything. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure you're with an outstanding organization like Ingram. Ingram Spark is a great place to go and get your book published. Mm-hmm. But that's the most important part about getting it out there. But if you have a dream and you have a story in your head, write it down and show it to people and ask them what they think, and you'll get answers and you'll know before you even try to publish it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of publishing organizations for publishers to learn what to do and who to talk to and how to get your story published, and they'll take a look at it and they'll make sure that it's in perfect form and everything, so that when you put it out there aren't any mistakes. I was very lucky that I met some really nice people through different writing organizations. One was the CPBA and the other was WPN. On both of them, the people who run the organizations call me on the phone, talk to me, give me advice. They've really been a wonderful help. So I think that anybody who writes a book should join those organizations so they can get the help. And they also print out magazines every month that gives you a lot of help. And they also do workshops and everything. In fact, I know Catherine, who's at the WPN, wrote me a note to remind me that there is a workshop on today, this afternoon. So I think those things are important. It gives you people to work with and talk with. And, if you aren't sure about something, they definitely will find the answer for you.
It's a great segue that you've established here, Dr. Haller, because I want to go a little bit more in depth, okay? Talking to us about your experience. Well, specifically, talk to us how your experience has gone working with Mia Gutierrez and book collaborators, right? And how has that collaboration helped in promoting your work and even growing your brand?
Mia is an exceptional person. I've never met anybody like Mia. She's such a very caring, wonderful person. But she got my book up in New York on the what do you call them? In New York City, they have all those
billboards.
They're billboards. There's all kinds of billboards up there, but they're moving billboards. And so I've been, up on that, and that's on my Facebook too. She just she's found many, many things for my book. Mia found me because I'm going to be at in California at the book fair there. And somehow I was there last year when they called me and asked me if I was going to be there again this year. And I told them, yes, I was. And so then Mia started working with me to get me a good spot where people would see my book. I went there last year and I was at the first place when you walk in. And of course, who stops at the first place when you walk in? And I have a big, a big sign that goes way up with Will's Adventure on it and pictures of it. And the children all stop right away because they want to go on the adventure. But I was getting from the parents that, this is the first book you saw. You can't just buy the first book you saw. You have to go see the other books. Well, of course, by the time they were finished going through this whole thing, hundreds and hundreds of books, they didn't want to come back to the first booth again, although I did sell 30 books from the children who were insistent. No, I want this book, you have to get it for me. There's a picture of me somewhere, I see it ever so often, with this little girl, and I'm reading her my book. And what happened is I was in Florida at a book fair, and she came up and she saw the book and she liked it. And then all of a sudden she looks at me and she says, "Read me this book now." I said, "Okay, come sit on my lap." But she was so funny. She wanted a book and she wanted it now and she wasn't ready to wait. So her teenage sister bought it for her. See, that goes into that's why you love your sister.
Well, listen, Dr. Haller, this has been quite the adventure that we've taken with you today. And people, like she's mentioned, if you find yourself in the Los Angeles area come the end of April, you got to check her out at the LA Times Festival of Books. It's going to be held at the campus of USC And you're gonna get the opportunity to meet her, get this book, and just get lost in this journey with your children, because I'm telling you, it's magical and you're going to want to add it to your shelf. Dr. Haller, this has been a true pleasure. I really do mean it, okay? An absolute delight, such a fun time. Keep up the fantastic work, and once again, thank you for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.